Hello Floss Tube. Right, so today I am doing the new start. This is what I am stitching. It's Alexandra v Bach and it's Mother of Dragon. I'm doing it on 25 count easy guide swag art. I'm going to do full crosses. On my other project I'm doing tent stitch on Deep Blue Sea, so the full crosses, it will take me a little bit longer obviously, but that's all fine. So I'm using one strand, full cross, so 1/1 basically. Yeah, so that's what I'm stitching. So let's move this out of the way. And I was going to do a floss tube of how I put my fabric onto my frame, but because, let me see whether I can show you. Because this frame has the fabric that you stitch your fabric onto, sort of thing, on the dowel, I struggled, so my video got deleted, and I've gone back to the trusty old masking tape. Literally just 2 of the boxes stitched with the masking tape over on the far edge, obviously. Masking tape on the 2 boxes, and then stuck to the dowel rod. And then I've left it overnight as well. This is a great little tip for you, to leave it overnight. Don't try stitching on it straight away, because it takes a little while for it to set. So obviously this top bit, it kept pulling away from the masking tape, but I've rolled it over a couple of times, left it overnight, and now this is not going anywhere. It is stuck. So there we go, get that out of the way. And then I got my little tape measure beforehand, and I measured from the top down 3 inches. Well, I measured down 3 inches. I've added an inch. I'll still have 2 inches at the bottom. So yeah, everyone, it's all personal preference on how much room you give at the top. The fabric that I received, it gave an allowance of 3 inches. So it gave me plenty to work with, which I'm glad about, to be honest. I prefer, the more the better, really. Let me see if I can get my tape measure. So 3 inches. You don't count this. When I measured the whole lot, it was over, there's my little trusty measurements. It was over 34. So the 34 was from here. And then, yeah, so 3 inches in, and there's my starting point. So, less of the waffle. If you have any questions with regards to that, then feel free to comment, and I will endeavour to answer them. So, my first colour, well, it is a good old 310 black. Is that the right needle? No, that's not the right needle. This is the right needle. I use a ball tip needle. I just find it a lot easier. It finds the holes better. Now let me see if I can, I've showed you a couple of times, but so my one piece of thread, my needle, bung the needle through, done. It just saves using a needle threader. Now, start wise, I am going to just bring it over here a little bit. Leave a tail. Here comes the first stitch, guys. Oh, she says, there we go. Alright, let's pull that a little bit. Pull that through. Pull it a little bit more. And then first stitch. I haven't done full cross for a long time. I'm so used to doing tent stitch. So this is a challenge to remember to finish the cross. I'm going to be stitching the royal rose method still with this. For those of you that are not aware, royal rose is stitching the 2 blocks and then parking underneath. Now with this first row, the parking underneath, well, any row to be honest, you don't have to, you're not restricted to parking underneath, especially with this design because it's all black. I'm going to be doing a lot of black for this first width. So I can get away with parking over here and just carrying on basically. We'll see how I go when I get to the bottom, because coming straight back up there's going to be a bit of overhang. There you go, that's just pulled that last little thread out to the back. If that hadn't have happened, I would have got my little snag nabbit and I would have poked it down here and pulled it through to the back, and it would have pulled that thread. So that's that out the way. And yeah, so just basically stitch these two 10 by 10 boxes. I'm hoping to get both boxes done on this video for you, just so that it explains the royal rows a little bit better for you. Now on some previous videos I'd said that I stitch left to right on the whole project, and then within the box I stitch left to right as well. I found that I haven't actually been doing that. I've been stitching left to right in the box and then going right to left, even with my tent stitch. So again, that will be personal preference. You can tweak it to your own. If you would prefer to do all left to right, then go for it. The same with the royal rows. I believe Celia, she's took up the royal rows and she's loving it. It's helping her speed along. You tend to get a lot more stitching done because all your threads are there ready to be picked up. But I believe that she is stitching left to right all the way across, and then I believe she's coming back myself and Joyce, we have been doing left to right and then come back to the left and start again. Come out of the way, Trixie. I have a new kitten, so she's still learning about not messing with my cross stitch. She's only 13 weeks old and she's a very needy baby, so I may have to pause a couple of times just to give the fuss. Yeah, full crosses. Now, royal rows, the way I came up with that was, it was basically a tweak on all of the videos that I'd seen with regards to parking. I just found this a lot more, not comfortable. It just clicked. I don't know how. I think I started off with just one, but I found that you can get lines, stitching lines, so I converted it into the two. And because of parking below and finishing to the right, it was preventing those lines because there's plenty of thread going on at the back, crossing over and whatnot. And I just found that it prevents the lines because you're finishing, you know, your threads at the back are going in all directions. They're not just confined to going in one direction, which I believe that is what causes the lines, when you're just constantly going in the one direction and you've got nothing crossing over that barrier. So this crosses over that barrier basically in both directions. I'm not stating that this is 100% true, because I haven't come across lines yet, let's say, and I'm hoping that I never will. So far, people that have been stitching it, I believe theirs hasn't created lines, so I'm 95% certain that this is preventing lines. Now obviously you need to be parking below and to the right, and the whole, if you can't park it below and you can park it to the right, then go for it, park to the right. There's a lot of give with royal rows. You can tweak it to however you want. Mine, hang on, Trixie, no, come on, you can sit on my knee but you can't sit on this cross stitch. So yeah, there's a lot of tweaking you can do with royal rows. I'm trying to be strict with myself, which is why I came up with it. Trying to be strict with myself, so I'm not parking all the way down and parking all the way down and hang on, I'm going to have to pause you because this one's trying to attack my fabric. There you go. Yeah, I can't remember what I was saying now, I'm sorry guys. Yeah, the whole being strict with myself, it's so that I'm not parking all the way down here. And yeah, I suppose parking all the way down, I believe they call it cross country, parking all the way down there, it does maybe help prevent those stitching lines because you've got that bit of thread at the back. But that's when I find that's when your back gets extremely messy and it can become quite thick and you can struggle to get your needle through. Whereas with this, it's confined, so it doesn't get too bulky. And if there's a lot of stitches, for example, if you've got, I don't know, 40 odd colours within these 2 boxes, I find it doesn't get overly bulky because you're being very strict. So yeah, and as I say, the tweaks, I've already heard of people doing their own little tweaks with it. Some people are doing it 4 boxes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then going across. It's the same sort of setup, as long as you're finishing to that right and parking mostly below, then that's great. Now unfortunately with this project that I'm doing, with these first 2 boxes, there is a lot of black. It is pretty much all black, which is why I'm whizzing through, because I don't have to look at the pattern, because I know that these first 2 boxes are all black. So yeah, there's not going to be a lot of necessarily parking going on. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to wait till I get to the end of this 2 block. I find your top left corner tends to not have a lot going on at the back anyway, depending on how many colours you use. Because there's nothing, you're not going over anything already. There's nothing already there to be stitching over. So yeah, another reason that I like royal rows is because I'm doing the whole width and then coming back. So by doing that, I know obviously as you stitch, you're gradually revealing what the piece is. But with this, it just gradually comes down like a printer. If you're watching your printer print something out, you slowly see the top, and then it's similar to that. And I love the idea of it, just gradually being able to see it and being extra strict with yourself of not carrying on a bit further down just because I don't know, like with this one, when I come across the dragon, I will be tempted to carry on and stitch that dragon, but I'm not going to. It just makes it that extra bit of fun of seeing it gradually come into life. In some scenarios, it might be slowly coming to life, because as I say, I've just got a new kitten, and she's very needy, which is understandable. I like to keep her active, keep her playing, because I do have another kitten. She's nearly a cat. She's a year old in July. So yeah, I like to try and keep the kitten as played out as I can, so that she's not terrorising Tilly. At this precise moment, Tilly's outside, so I'm just letting the kitten have a little bit of a run around, pick up Tilly's scent so that the kitten gets used to her scent. And once I've finished, unless Tilly comes to the door meowing to come in, once I've finished, Trixie will go back in the bedroom and I'll shout my number one girl in. They seem to be getting on okay. Tilly's had a couple of hissing moments. She's been a little bit sly. Trixie was asleep the other day and Tilly decided to just randomly swat her as she walked past and then she ran off. I've recently been told that the reason Tilly's doing that is just to gauge what sort of reaction Trixie is going to give. She wants to know if Trixie's a threat. So by her just giving her that little sly swat while she was asleep, it's kind of letting her know that Trixie isn't going to retaliate. So now the only thing I have to do is watch that Tilly isn't doing that much more. Because let's face it, eventually Trixie probably will fight back. I know I would. I wouldn't want to be swatted randomly, especially when I'm asleep. But we'll see. I don't keep them... I'm introducing them slowly. I don't want to overwhelm Tilly. You know, it's a big change for her. She had the run of the bungalow. And now all of a sudden there's like this little intruder. But she's doing okay. Oh, this is coming along nicely. Doing these crosses. I haven't restored my floss for this project. For those of you that have watched my video, this is my official Heaven and Earth Designs material pack. First and unfortunately last full pack that I'll be purchasing from them because of custom charges. But as you know, well, I don't know if you know, but the floss already comes on cards. And I do quite like the cards. They're very, very laminated. There's not going to be any, as I pull the fabric, as I pull the floss through, it might fray. I don't think there's going to be any of that. So I am using the floss cards that it came with. To know what I'm talking about, please go back and watch my purple package reveal and you'll see what I mean because I show it on there. Now I'm going to get this stitch done. I'm going to end the thread end the floss because I don't want to be, I believe people call it chicken. I don't like chasing the ends. I'm not scared to lose a bit of the floss. So I'll give that a little snip. So there, as you saw, I park to the right. Just a quick explanation, parking to the right as well. I tend to park one block over. So then when I come to this block, I will stitch. This will get covered and then with my snag nabbit, I'll pull that through to the back. I need another little bit more of the 310. There we go. Oh, another thing I would just like to say, I've just done it myself, but I personally think that you shouldn't use your needle that you're stitching with to pull your floss, because as much as you try and keep your floss loose to pull it out, let me just see if I can quickly show you. So here's the ring. I've literally just pulled a bit of floss from the ring, and as I'm pulling it, it will put a lot of strain on the needle, and my needle is slightly bent because of that. So I'm naughty because I did just do it myself, but I would advise not to use your working needle. Yeah, try not to use your working needle. I'm going to park that over here. So, and then we've got an extra, because then we've got that extra bit of thread in that box to stitch over. And because I'm doing 1 over 1, it's not too much of a dilemma. Not dilemma. It won't matter too much. There you go. Now this isn't, you don't have to start like this. Like I say, I'm not the expert at everything. I'm just showing you how I do it. You know, some people do pin stitch. I personally don't get along with pin stitch because I don't know if it's because I'm using the ball tip needle, but I just struggle with it. So I just prefer just to leave a tail, bung it over there. You know, it's easy to buy more floss if I run out because of, you know, losing this little bit of extra, but I don't mind doing that because where I get my floss from, my DMC is from Lakeside Needlecraft and it's fairly cheap. Now I've recently been hearing about, now I think it's called CXC floss. A lot of people talking about it. It's a substitute for DMC and the colours, apparently the colours are the same, so if you buy a 310, you know, their 310 is black as well. So, and apparently it is like nearly pretty much half the price, maybe a little bit more than DMC. The floss, again, don't take my word for it, I'm just repeating what I have heard. Apparently the floss can be a little bit fluffier. So for full coverage, I suppose it would be ideal really. I mean, luckily I'm not having too much trouble with this black. You know, you can see a lot of you can sometimes see a lot of the fabric behind, especially doing 1 over 1. But this isn't looking too bad at the moment. So yeah, CXC, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. If it's not, I'll put in the description what it is called, but I'm pretty sure that is what it is. There we go with this. This is so, it's actually quite therapeutic doing just the one colour because I can just stitch away and chat. You know, I haven't got to be counting and losing track of what I'm saying, even though I do that anyway. Let's face it, it's me. So yeah. A friend of mine suggested getting the needle minder. Apparently you can get the needle minder of this finished piece. So fingers crossed next week I'm going to purchase the needle minder, because I do zooms and things like that, when people ask what I'm stitching, I can just say, oh, check out the needle minder on the piece, and that is what the finished project's going to look like. So I think that could be quite fun to have that sat there. So I can't believe I'm doing another new start. I'm officially a multi-project stitcher. All this year I've been telling people, no, I just want to stitch one thing. I'm not gonna do new starts. I'm not gonna have multiple projects on the go. I'm gonna do my Deep Blue Sea and then I will do my Mother of Dragon. But you little enablers, you. I have now got 3 projects on the go. So I've got my John Enright Deep Blue Sea, which is 2 over 1 tent stitch, doing the royal rows. That one I've been doing for a few months now. Obviously this one now, but it was either yesterday or the day before, I believe it was the day before, I started my long dog sampler. Now that, I'm not doing royal rows on that because it's a mystery sale. So for those of you that don't know, Mystery Stitch Along. And it's the Changing Seasons one from Fox and Rabbit. They basically release part of your pattern once a month. I'm a little bit behind, I've only just started, but yeah, I'm not doing royal rows on that, I'm just stitching it as I go because I'm using that variegated floss as well, so I feel it'd be too strict. I'll be too strict with myself if I do royal rows, so I'm just stitching away on it. It's a nice change of pace. So yeah, I now have 3 projects, and that's not even counting the ones that are in storage that I maybe started before I discovered Haid, you know, with the stamped cross stitch. I don't even count those in, to be honest, but I believe I've got 2 that I had opened and thought about starting, but so yeah, I can. Joyce commented on my post. I think it was my long dog sampler post. She was like, "Yeah, you could do a whip parade now." So yeah, I could do. Show you what I've got going on. But that's the first box done, guys. So I'm going to carry on stitching down here though, because I do the 2. So yeah, the whole whip parade. Now with the other cross stitch that I have in storage, I'm not sure if I'm going to be showing those as well. And now the reason for that is because I've recently found out that one of the pieces that I was doing, that I showed people I have in storage that I should really get out and finish. It was by, I don't want to name the company. Oh, do I name the company? Does it matter? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I should so that people know. No, I'm not going to name them because I think they are starting to get the copyrights correct, you know. But yeah, basically someone had commented saying that this company were well known for stealing designs type thing. And now I wasn't aware of this. I bought the kits years ago, and yeah, someone commented, and it kind of made me a little bit upset. I was like, oh, I really wanted to maybe have the whole multiple project thing and be doing this, but I ended up putting it away again. But no, I'm not going to start that then, because I'm not going to be able to share it if people think that it's been bought from someone who stole it. But so I'm not going to be able to show them, I don't think. You'll have to let me know, guys. What do you think? Should I share all of the cross stitch kits? I say all of. I think there's only 4. All of the stamped cross stitch kits that I've got that I haven't done yet. Should I show them? I suppose I could, and give a disclaimer at the beginning of the video, maybe. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to waffle on about it, but just comment below and let me know what you think about whether I should do a little whip parade of all things cross stitch. Well, this is going quite nicely. Let's hope that I have pressed, 28 minutes so far. So if I can get this done, that's a bonus. Now, I like that I am doing a new start for you guys and doing the royal rose, showing you what the royal rose is going to be. Unfortunately for you guys, this project, as I've said, is pretty much all black. This first row. Well, these first 2 blocks. I think a bit further across there is a bit more of the paler colours for the top of her head coming in, but for this bit here, definitely it is pretty much all black. So the whole royal rose parking method, I can talk about it, but I'm not showing you much at the moment. But if you bear with me, when we do get a bit further across and the colour change, there's some colour changing going on, I will be doing some more posts, some more uploads of this. And even with my deep blue sea, even though I'm doing full cross here and 10 stitch on that one, I can still show you the parking method. But yeah, it is self-explanatory with the whole park below, finish to the right. I know some people like to see it actually in action, and you know, a lot of people have been commenting saying, oh, doesn't all the parked threads drive you crazy, and all that thread that you're just going to be constantly threading needles. Now you would think that. You would think, oh, all that parked thread at the bottom there, you're not going to be getting much stitching done. You're going to be constantly threading your needle. Well, actually the opposite is true. Yes, you are threading your needle, but you're saving time because your parked threads are there. They're ready to be stitched in. You haven't got to pull out the floss from whatever storage you're using. You ain't got to do your start. You know, it's there, ready. Just pick it up, thread it, stitch the 2 boxes, park it below, or finish. And it's so much quicker. You're pretty much near enough double your usual daily stitching. Now I'm going to finish this. The first row can be a little bit daunting. It's not going to be with me because, like I said, it's all a very one particular colour. The first row can be a bit daunting because you're having to thread your needle. You're having to pick the colour out. I'm just going to bring my snag nabbit up because that was falling a little bit. It's been stitched over now, but I'm still going to do that. So yeah, the first row can be a little bit daunting because you have got to find what colour you need. You need to pull your floss out, and then you need to start. Oh, that's the wrong one. So you need to start, but once you get that first row out of the way, that's it. It's smooth, well, not smooth sailing, because you've still got to, you know, they're not necessarily all parked ready, but the majority of what you're going to be stitching in the next 2 blocks are sat there waiting for you. Give it a go. It's not for everybody. I'm not offended at people if they don't like the method, you know. It's not for everybody. It doesn't have to be for everybody. That way, that way, that way. Let's start this way. Yeah, I'm not gonna not like you just because you don't like my method. You know, people are different. There is no such thing as the right way or the wrong way when it comes to your stitching. You know, it's your own preference. I personally love it. Someone else could personally hate it. That's absolutely fine. You're not beholden to it. Like I said, I've researched on Floss Tube numerous amounts of different types of parking. And although the parking looks great for the people that I've seen them do, and you know, I wish I had been able to do it, you know, I tweaked it because their method wasn't quite for me, but nearly. So some people don't like parking at all. You know, there's so many different ways. Honestly, research. If you're new to heaven and, well, not heaven and earth necessarily. If you're new to cross stitch, new to any type of cross stitch, research. Especially on this Floss Tube. You know, 9 times out of 10 you will find it. And it'll just click. And you'll be like, oh, that's perfect. That is just how I needed to do it. And that's fine. That's how, you know, that's how it works with everybody. We're coming along nicely with this one. And the black, the 1/1 is working well for this. Black is normally a very big tell of how your stitching is going to go. because black tends to, if your coverage isn't quite right, the black will let you know. But so there is a little, the tiniest bit of white showing through, but once I've finished and get it washed, I'm pretty certain that it will fluff up. And if it doesn't, that little tiny bit of white that maybe is coming through, a teeny tiny bit, it's not an issue for me. I don't mind at all. When I finish this video, when I finish this block, sorry, I'm going to take my recording device off of its mount and I'm going to show you where I'm stitching. I'll show you my little setup. On my previous video, you'll see me receiving my frame. So if you go to that, you'll see what the frame is. It came super quick, ready in time for today. Now, a little side note, the reason that I'm starting this today is because on my Facebook group, All Things Cross Stitch, I've created an event for today. Basically just a little stitch along. The Zoom room is open 24/7 sort of thing, so people can just jump on it whenever they want anyway. But I just thought I'm going to create an event. I think I'm maybe going to be doing it once a month. So I've created an event for today. To start at 2 PM UK time. And I had to put a finish because with your event, it asks you to say what time you're finishing. Now I put 11 PM UK time, but the finish is irrelevant because, like I said, the room is open constantly. To be fair, the start is irrelevant as well because people can jump on whenever they want. But I thought if I just do a little event, try and get everybody together roughly the same time on the same day, get it in your diaries, have a stitchy day. You come along on the Zoom and just sit and stitch, listen to other people chattering away, chat yourself, get to know people. It's such a lovely little room. So that's why I've done this new start today, because I'd said to them on the event that I was going to possibly be doing this new start. And everyone was like, yeah, go for it, do it. So yeah, this is the reason that the new start is happening today. For those that are maybe interested, you need to be joining Zoom Stitchy Friends, because the room is part of that group. So yeah, you join that group and yeah, you'll find what you need. Come along, introduce yourself, and then hop into the room. I'm on it pretty much most days. There's a couple of other ladies that are in there pretty much most days. Yeah, it is super friendly group. I haven't quite figured out how to put in links on my floss tubes. I'll have a go, but I'll try and put it in the description. I'll try and put a link of Zoomy Stitchy Friends in the description here for those that may want to go and join her. It's Liv Curtis who has set up the group, set up the room. So yeah, that's happening today. We're nearly at the end of this. My kitten is meowing. I don't know if you can hear her. Tried to get rid of background noise via my mic, but she sounds like a little puppy when she's meowing. She's very cute. Yeah, I named her Trixie in the end. I really wanted a pet to call AJ because it's a mixture of mine and my partner's name, but it just didn't quite suit her. So we ended up playing around with some names, and I kind of says, oh, Bellatrix, and then my partner was like, Trix, and I was like, oh yeah, Trixie, and we shouted her and she came running. So she kind of picked the name a little bit, I suppose, but yeah. Our little Trixie. With Tilly, she gives a paw for a treat. I trained her to do that. So it's actually quite an ideal name for Trixie if I'm going to be doing the same with her. Get to do some tricks. Settle down, girl, nearly done. There we go. Nearly there. And then, like I say, I'll show you the setup that I've got going on. My partner helped me set it up last night because I'll admit it, I can be quite a stressy person if things aren't quite right. They need to be just so. Anything that's a little bit out, that's it. It ruins my vibe. It ruins the fun of stitching. So last night, he helped me get all this set up, ready for today. There was a couple of tense moments of me being stressy, but we got there in the end. Anybody who says they just set it up and bish bash bosh, it's done, and they're away stitching, I don't know how you do it, because as easy as it looks for the setup, honestly, if it isn't so, I get so stressed. My partner, he has a laugh and a joke with me. He's like, I thought cross stitch was meant to be a stress-free hobby sort of thing. You're meant to enjoy it. It doesn't sound stress-free. Well, no, that's just me. I'm stressy. You know, if you make mistakes and the little frog comes to visit, that can be quite stressful. Because it's not so much you get stressed with the cross stitch, you get stressed with yourself for making the error. So yeah, he does make me giggle when I have a little wobble because something isn't quite going right. Even the simplest thing of losing my scissors, which, to be fair, it's rare it happens because I have magnets that it attaches to, but I haven't got the magnet on this one yet, so it could be a possibility of losing my scissors one day. With the fact that I've got the multiple project thing going on now, I don't want to neglect the deep blue sea one. So I've got to come up with some form of system of switching them out, because, like I say, I want to try and keep going with deep blue sea. I don't want it to get neglected and bunged in the cupboard or anything. It's already on its frame. I've not had to take it off because I ordered this frame for this one. So it's easy enough to take this off the stand and put that on the stand, back on the stand. Now, shall I stitch all of this? Or shall we end it so that we can park below? Let's do this stitch and then end the thread. I want to be able to show you what I mean with parking for those that don't know what's what with it. So that's that ended. Let's get the scissors that I'm sure I will lose one day. Snip that. Some nice sharp scissors I think is a must as well. You don't want blunt fraying your fabric, your floss. So yeah, I would advise some very nice scissors. Oh no, we've got a bit of a knot going on. How's that happened? There we go. hair in it. Oh dear. Again, let me quickly show you how I thread my needle. Sorry about the nails, people. It was a rush job today. So, there we go. And go. Done. Now let's bung this next to that one. Okay, Trixie, I'm nearly done, girl. Hang on. Oh, I pulled that one too tight. That's because I'm rushing. Because Trixie's wowing, bless her. Let's bring that hand out and let's pull that. I am a two-handed stitcher. I can do it either way with hands on top. Some people are one-handed. They like to just go down and bring the hand up around the back. It's handy to be two-handed stitchers. To be a two-handed stitcher. Sorry, I just giggled at my own pun there. God. Yeah, it's handy because working on your far left at the start of the project, you know, it can be a little bit tricky if you haven't got a lot of space between your frame and the stand, or your frame and the edge, just in general, you know, your edge of your fabric. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean by getting a bit tricky. Let's finish these few stitches because that will be easier. I'll be able to take the phone off of the recording device off the mount. Yeah, so it can be quite handy to be two-handed because you can switch your arm the other way to whatever comfort is best for you to whereabouts you're working on the design. Right, so this is 3, 2, and 1. And there we have our first 2 block of royal rows. And then this gets parked on the first available stitch. Obviously we know that it's all black on this, and I am going to park because I know that it's going to get used a lot down here. So let me try and explain. So yeah, parking here. Now if there isn't a lot of, like I said, mine is all 1 block colour at the minute, so it's easy to gauge. But as you're stitching, I'll be able to show you this further along. As you're stitching, let me zoom you out. You need to be looking around at what's going on. So you finished your block, you've got a colour. Is it in here? If it is, hold your horses type thing and look to this side, up here. Because if there's only, say you've already got it parked up here, that's fine. So you don't need to worry about there. And to be honest, you don't want to worry down here either because you've got this going on up here. But if to the left, because you've already stitched this bit, if to the left there's like the odd stitch, park it there. Because you want to be looking at the whole big project type thing. Because as you come down, these next 2, well, yeah, your next 2 after these, there might be no stitch of that colour. So for example, this black. If I had some of this colour in this box here, and this has been stitched, right? So if I had it in this box here, or this box here, and there's only like, I don't know, 3, and then I look a little bit further down, and there's none in this one, and there's none over here. If there is literally just those few little confetti stitches, let's call them, you may as well park over here, because you know that you're going to end up parking it back over here. There's no point in starting a thread just to do these odd little stitches when you've got this that you can park there. Because when you come back to it and you stitch away, you know that it's not going to be parked down here. You know that it's not going to be along here. So yeah, it just play with it. just play with it a little. You'll know exactly what I mean as you stitch. So yeah, there's all sorts of little tweaks that you can do. Now I'm just going to pause you because I don't want to do what I did with my purple package reveal and catch the stop button. I want to pause you. So just bear with me 1 second. Right, so this is my little setup. Now excuse if there is any mess because I haven't, you know, the cross stitches, worst nightmare. You neglect your housework a little bit. And because I've got the Zoom to go on in about an hour and a half, I wanted to get this done first. Just to get it started uploading. Right, so let me move my chair out of the way a second. So yeah, I've got it set up in my kitchen because my lighting is so much better in here at the moment. My partner is going to sort me out a really nice decent lamp. So I have, oh there you go, there's Kitty making the introduction. I have the Elbacy floor stand. And I have that pushed up against my kitchen table. And then my frame, even though it is rested on here, obviously clamped in, I've got the book there just for that extra support because it's quite a heavy piece. And then if you come across, it's then rested on my radiator, flush up against the wall. Oh no, it's not actually holding it. I was going to say, my partner was saying that I could do with something here just to stop, but it should be fine. Let's not mess with it, Ali. But yeah, so my John Enright, as you can see. Oh, excuse all that mess. Oh my God. So yeah, my John Enright's there ready to be put back on if I want to. I've got my pattern keeper. Here's my floss next to me. And there's my beautiful Mother of Dragon. So yeah, that is my setup. Ideally, I'm going to take you on a little tiny tour. And this is my chair. So that is where I sit. And I stitch away. Okay, right, let's just quickly, very, very quick little tour. Again, I don't think there's any mess. I did start doing my housework. So yeah, this room, I'm playing with the idea of having that as my stitchy corner. I'm going to get it all painted. And like I said, my partner's on about sorting out a nice light. Maybe put it in the corner above my head. We'll see. If not, there's over in that corner. We're getting rid of this bed here. So maybe in that corner. We don't know. But I don't like being far away from my partner. Because there is plenty of rooms that I could potentially go into. But yeah, I don't like the idea of being away from my partner. But yeah, so that is my little stitchy corner. At the moment, it's not going to be permanent because let's face it, it's the kitchen. And we don't want as much as my piece will get washed. I don't particularly like the idea of heavily nicotine stained or, you know, the grease in the air, get into it. I can easily cover it with a sheet, but I will be stitching it quite a lot. So I don't want to be constantly changing it out. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me for our first 2-block of the Royal Rose. If you decide to stitch Royal Rose, please use the hashtag Royal Rose, because then, I don't know if people are aware, but if you don't know what the Royal Rose is and it comes up in a comment, if you press that word, that hashtag, it brings up all the people that are talking about it on that platform. On other platforms, you can search, it comes up with the option of search. Say if someone's only mentioned it once in that group and you click it, it'll bring up that status, for example, that post. But then if you scroll down a little bit further, it does say search online for other people that may be discussing Royal Rose. If you click that, that sends you to this link, you know, my floss tube. It sends you to All Things Cross Stitch. It sends you to Zoomy Stitchy Friends because people are talking about it in there. it sends you to the official Heaven and Earth Designs Facebook group because people are discussing it in there. Anyone who is discussing it, you can see it all. So yeah, if you do use it, if you do give it a go, please do the hashtag. Yeah, and if you do it, I really hope you enjoy it as much as I do, and as much as a few others are starting to enjoy it. I think that we're going to call that it, because we're nearly at an hour. Yeah, if you're new, please hit subscribe, hit the notification, because I tend to try and do some uploads, so there's plenty of Stitch With Me's coming your way. For returning visitors, thank you so much. Yeah, super fun start to the day with a new start. Alright, I'm gonna shoot. So happy stitching, everybody. I love you all so much. Thank you all so much for your support. I do love you all, but not as much as cross stitch.